Donald Trump put on Truth Social, "It is my great honor to report that the United States of America now fully owns and controls 10% of Intel, a great American company that has even more incredible future. I negotiated this deal with Lep Bhutan, a highly respected chief executive officer of the company. The United States paid nothing for these shares, and the shares are now valued at approximately $11 billion. This is a great deal for America and also a great deal for Intel.
Mm-hmm.
Building leading edge semiconductors and chips, which is why Intel does is fundamental to the future of our nation. Make America great again. Thank you for your attention to this matter." My thing is, how is that even legal in the United States of America? This
It's legal
sounds
in
like
all
Russia.
governments.
Yeah.
You starting to privatize companies. How are you, okay?
Here's
How are you able to control 10% stake in a Fortune 500 company? You don't see any conflict of interest in that?
this is how this is how you make it happen. You tell a company or industry that you're going to make an act specifically for that industry, hence the CHIPS Act. Then you tell the American companies inside of that CHIPS Act, we're going to allocate this amount of money to you through subsidies and grants. Then you figure out which ones are going to get the most. So let's take the CHIPS Act. You say, all right, well, who got the largest allocation? Intel. How much did they get? $8.9 billion.
Which was
How's that?
wasted.
How's that been working for them? Not great. So they say, okay, well, we got to do something with that money that we were going to give to you. Here's what we'll do. We're not going to take it back, right? The CHIPS Act is there. We're not going to take it back. What we are going to do is we're going to take a piece of your company. We're going to take equity, right? We're not going to take any seats. We don't want to have any governance, right? But we are going to take the 10% stake in the company for what we were going to give you in the CHIPS Act.
Shark Tank deal.
So if you don't take it, we're going to pull the money back. You take it. In 5 years, they tell you, okay, if this works out, we have the option to take another 5%. So in 5 years, the government could own 15% of Intel. Conflict of interest, 1,000%. We can go into that. But that's
I can't believe
face level what's happened.
I'm about to take the other side of this.
Go ahead.
And y'all gonna make me support.
Because I got a question for you.
Okay.
Go ahead. Well, state your claim and then I'll ask you the question.
Intel has been poorly run for the last 15 years. Is it the government's fault? And just to be clear, other governments invest into their businesses. China, notoriously. That's why Jack Ma had to take a little vacation that he didn't want it to take. But if a company is so poorly run, and what you're seeing, you can talk about deal structure and if it's right. What this does signal, though, is we cannot afford to lose another American brand. Going back to my assessment of you have to invest in the companies that are moving the GDP of the United States of America because the economy is very fragile. The debt is higher than it's ever been. And you know it's high when they're structuring these kind of private equity deals to offset the debt that the country has. Is there a conflict of interest? For sure. Was it a conflict when Biden installed all this capital into the business, which was failing because you couldn't do it with AMD or NVIDIA? I think it needs to be done. And I think at a larger scale, they're trying to stop some of these companies from going under, which will then reveal that the mid-sized banking sector is in ruin and cause a collapse of scale. That's what I think is really happening. It would be because how are you a chip company, AMD, TSM, Suncor, you got Constellation Energy on fire, and you're underperforming? Usually where there's smoke, there's fire. Is it advantageous for the government to do it if they like make a way to make some profit off of this, and could it be nefarious? Sure. But I think they're trying to stop more bleeding and the collapse from coming in the American economy that they don't want to be revealed.
Yeah. I think they will let an American company fall. They just can't let this one fall.
Not in this space.
Because of the industry it's in, right? Like we can't. I think what happened with the pandemic, and we could argue manufactured or not, but like that was the sign that this can never happen again. We can never rely on international companies to supply us with things that are mandatory for our economy to thrive. And so obviously Intel is in that space, and Intel still generates a lot of money. It's just that what future guidance for what Intel will look like is extremely poor. What it does do, I'm asking you the question after this, is it's kind of like why we we'll put an asterisk around that. Why you might invest in a Palantir and why you might invest in a Tesla.
Yeah.
And it's because of government backing, government funding. So if you have an Intel that now has a 10%, government has a 10%, does it make it more advantageous to say, hey, the risk is now reduced inside of this company because of the government involvement? And my question is, are we digging them out the grave? Are they no longer dead?
Intel?
Yeah.
They're still on life support.
Not dead anymore. Because this is like, if they're involved, it's here, right?
They also bailed out Ford before too, and Ford stock hasn't done anything. Will they be delisted? No. Will Intel be a thriving company as a result? No. May they move them 15% or 20% over a year or 3? Probably. Will it be NVIDIA, AMD? No. Even somebody put in a comment, they have all the infrastructure. Go to job listings.
Yeah.
Or if you're in Silicon Valley, most people will rather work at Pizza Hut than work at Intel. Bro, what 50 Cent say about Koch? That's just a graveyard.
Okay, so the HSH3621. Rashad speaks on things he knows nothing about. This isn't illegal or unheard of. Check subjectivity. Well, I never said it was illegal.
He didn't say that for the record.
But okay, so let's ask Chat. You don't trust me? Ask ChatGPT. Is U.S. ownership of Intel rare? Yes, very rare. Traditionally, the United States government does not take direct equity stakes in private companies. It prefers to support industries through tax incentives, contracts, and grants. The only modern precedent was during the crisis, like 2008 financial bailout, when the Treasury took equity in banks and GM to stabilize them.
And I want to go ahead after that.
Okay. All right. Don't trust me.
Good. I think your question was, how is this possible? Which was kind of like what we're explaining. This is how it's possible.
It's a quasi bailout.
Yeah, this doesn't happen.
It's rare. It happens in other countries.
Yeah, typically.
And until the Pizza Hut, most people that I'm telling you from people I talk to in tech, they would rather work at Darden that owns Pizza Hut than fucking work at Intel. It's okay just to listen to the information.
Pizza's not Yum Brands?
Oh, Yum. Excuse me, Yum.
Oh, okay.
But it's okay just to listen to the information. If I made you money, please put yes in chat. We don't need pushback today. We just need love.
So here's the thing, right? If and the Intel thing is very interesting, and why it's so rare is like, if there is regulation and if there is governance, do we trust the government to investigate its own company? Or, if they have a stake in it,
it's a conflict.
It's a conflict
of interest.
Even in the sense of, okay, go ahead.
Really quick, because we live.
Perhaps we do trust it because we are here. Come on, man. We were just phrasing the question. That's all. But even in this, when we talk about like a Tesla, right? When government contracts are awarded at a 10% stake, 11, potentially 15% stake, how does it AMD or Micron or these American companies, how do they even compete?
How do the American companies compete against them?
If government contracts or grants are are going to be awarded.
This is what
You
happened.
would likely think that the company that has stake or the entity that has stake is going to get first
Technological
privilege.
superiority is how
This,
they compete.
this is what happens in China, and this is what happens in Russia. This isn't what's supposed to happen to America.
But going back to black swans, put in ChatGPT. What are the 5 major black swan events that could cripple the stock market and the economy? Losing a mega brand, like think about it like this: Nike's down, Target is in a rut, Lululemon's falling apart. In a 5-year period, Intel could be in that swath of companies. We could lose 7 American international publicly traded companies in a 2-year period before 2027.